Hello, my name is Alan Jacobson with First Look. Today I'm going to talk to you about the comparison between the FL360 Original Camera and the FL360 Long Range Camera. So the Long Range Camera can be identified by seeing it basically LR here on the heat sink. So the original camera, the original FL360, does not have that LR on the heat sink. Otherwise the cameras look identical. They're the same size and width, and all of the other lights and everything else are exactly the same. So I also want to sort of emphasize that the long range version is not such a leap ahead of the original that you need to look toward exchanging or replacing the original camera. The original camera still functions just as it should. It does a great job at what it does, and it supports all of the new software that we're bringing out. So there's no necessity to leap to the long range camera. The original camera is no longer in production. It stopped around the December of 2022, and somewhere around, let me see here, serial number 10963. So if you have a serial number of 10963 or less, you have the original camera. So what I want to do is sort of explain the differences between the two models. Okay, so difference number one, probably the biggest thing, is the way that we handle the hardwire. So on the LR camera, we've moved to something called Ethernet. So the camera connects the same way, although the port is different. So the cables are not interchangeable between the original cables and the LR long range cables. But with the option of the Ethernet edition, we have the ability to go further. So we can go up to 300 feet or 90 meters with the long range camera, hence the name, right? The other thing is that the ability to use Ethernet as opposed to what the original uses, which I'll talk about, is that it doesn't matter whether the tablet has LTE or is Wi-Fi only. So that's something that I encountered before. So on the original camera, we used something called USB tethering, and that limited us to 100 feet. And the cable looks quite different, not only just the connector, but the fact that it's got all of these repeaters throughout to make USB go 100 feet. The USB tethering also, funny enough, it required LTE to be in the tablet itself. And the LTE, although you don't need a SIM card in there, you don't need it actually activated, the way that the board is laid out in the Samsung with LTE works with the USB tethering. With the camera, if you don't have it, it doesn't work. So that's a critical point. If you're ever buying a new tablet for your original camera, we highly, highly recommend the Samsung Active Pro 4 with LTE. Okay, so on the second part, the long range camera basically allowed us, when the redesign, and to be frankly, we redesigned this camera predominantly because of the chip supply chain disruption that took place a couple of years ago. We were forced to. We could no longer get the chips needed to make the original. So we made the long range, and in doing so, we redesigned it to be a little bit more powerful. There were more chips available to us in 2022 than there was in 2017 when we first designed the camera. So this extra power allows us to have a feature in our new software called Light Boost. So when you hold down the light button, it'll actually go brighter for about 10 seconds and then drop to normal. So it kind of goes 1 to 9, Bright Boost is 10, right? And that extra power allowed us to do that. The extra power also allowed us to build a night vision version of this camera, which will be a black anodized cover with something called like NV on it or something like that. That's soon to be released to the public. So that's something the extra power gives us. Now, on the other note, so one of the things that we changed when we redesigned to the LR camera, the new chipset, is we stop the drain of the batteries when the unit is turned off. So unfortunately with the FL360 Original, as soon as you put batteries in it, it starts to drain whether you turn it on or not. Now the drain is minimal, but over a 24-hour period, those batteries will need to be charged. Right? So that was an unfortunate thing that we didn't anticipate. It didn't come out until long after we had the product out in the marketplace, but the batteries drain as soon as you put them in. So you could not store batteries in the FL original 360 original camera. So in the long range camera, however, the time that the batteries use power is only when the unit is turned on. So this is a kind of a nice feature. So if you had to, you could leave the batteries in the camera to be prepped for the next day, but I don't recommend them being in there for months and months at a time. So if you're putting the kit away in a warehouse or whatever, you're not going to touch it for a while, then please put the batteries into the protective holder that it comes with, or leave them in the charger powered. It's a smart charger, it won't overpower the batteries, but don't leave them in the camera, please. All right, so the other thing that we did differently is, okay, so related to power, so I did look at my notes there for a second, is that we have the ability to use CR123A batteries. They're not the rechargeable type, but the disposable lithium-ion batteries, the small little ones, to power the camera. On the FL360 Original, you put 4 of those in there, and they'd last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. So they do draw down very quickly. So it's sort of a last resort. One of the unintended changes with the FL360 is when you put 4 fresh batteries into the LR camera, it won't start. There's too much voltage, surprisingly enough, out of those 4 batteries to initiate the boot up sequence of the camera. So what we do is we ship it with a blank. So one of the batteries is a blank, and then you have 3 CR123As that power up the battery. Once it's actually operating, funny enough, you can take the adapter out and replace the blank with a live battery, put it back in, and it will run until you need to restart it again. Or if the batteries are slightly diminished, if they're not full capacity, the camera will start with 4. So a little bit unusual. We tried to fix that through software. It's not something that we've come across to fix this yet, so we apologize for that. But the CR123As are literally like a last resort. Starting in 2024, and I'll go through this in the USAR kit video, we actually now ship 6 batteries in the USAR LR and in the RSK LR. So that's kind of nice. We have 6 batteries in there. So it even reduces the need for the CR123s even further. So again, I just want to emphasize that we're happy with the new LR camera, obviously. It's a nice product. It's what we sell now, and it fully supports everything we do. The original, like I said before, is still a very good camera. So it's not something that you have to rush out and buy the LR just to replace it. What you want to do is get an LR to enhance, to have multiple versions of the camera for different things. So hopefully you got something out of that. I appreciate the time that you took to watch it, and we appreciate your business. Thank you very much.